Week 1 of NFL football is in the books. We've now seen a glimpse of what it looks like for teams in 2024 with a week full of information and data. And now, to kick off Week 2, a huge division game between two 1-0 teams. Let's get into it. Welcome back, or welcome to America's Sports. Here we are with another Thursday night preview. And we're back down in Miami, so it is expected to be a hot one, close to about 90 degrees, with a chance of a thunderstorm. So there's always a chance of rain in Florida. The Bills travel on the road to take on the Miami Dolphins. The Bills, for the first time this year, are underdogs. Miami is favored by 2.5 points, with the over-under sitting at 48.5. In Week 1, both of these teams were down in the first half, only to come back and look good in doing so. And I know it's only Week 2, but this game is very important, especially when we talk about Tua and the Dolphins. When you're including the playoffs, Buffalo has beaten Miami 11 out of the last 12 times. I truly feel like this game means a little bit more to Miami than it does Buffalo. Buffalo's probably starting to feel like they got Miami's number. I'm paying very close attention to the running back room in Miami. Jeff Wilson got some run in Week 1, and he will be the go-to guy if both end up being out. That's been the thing with Mostert. He's a hell of a player, but, he gets nicked up, like we all do. And because Tua and because Coach Mike have a not great record against Buffalo, I think that it's vital for Miami to get off to a hot start and a lead. In 2023, Tua threw more than double the amount of touchdowns in the first half of games compared to the second half. 20 touchdowns in the first half of games compared to just 9 in the second half. Miami, of course, can come back on teams. They literally just did it in Week 1. But I think how this game starts is going to be crucial to the success of Miami. Now, on the other end, with Josh Allen, some of his best games come against Miami, who, by the way, is cleared to play, and he sounds like he's all right for the most part. The first time they played Miami last year, he was 21 of 25 with 4 touchdowns and a rushing touchdown to go with it. So yeah, I lean back to I think Miami has to have the lead at halftime if they want to secure a W. But I kind of like what Buffalo is doing. There's a bunch of wide receivers. You don't know which one is going to go off for Josh Allen each week. I mean, they've got Colin, Shakir, Curtis Samuel, Marcus Valdes-Scantling, 2 tight ends in Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, and then James Cook gets targets too. The over-under for this game in total points started at 50.5, and it's now down to 48.5. I do think there's a few factors involved in that. Some numbers to remember for you. In the 4 primetime games in Week 1 last week, the home team won all of them, even the Eagles, even though they played in Brazil. The over-under split at 2-2. And a lot of the predictions were on the Ravens, the Jets, and the Rams. Majority of the nation were picking those teams. And if you've been following this channel at all, you know we went with the exact opposite. And it ended up working out for us last week. On first glance of this, I was looking at going with the over. But I'm going to go with your usual under. Out of all the matchups, the under went 23-9. That's about 72%. That's about 72% that the under beat the over in Week 1 over the last 2 seasons. Last year in Week 2, though, the over and under split. The over won 8 times, the under won 8 times. Everyone sees 2 good teams and they automatically think, oh, 48 points, yeah, that's easy. And you'd be surprised how many times that fools people. But I do think they want to try to combat that number. So watch Week 2. I think the overs are going to hit a little bit more. Offenses are going to be better. Might be less holdings and less of other calls. The Dolphins versus Bills have gone over in their over-unders in 3 of the last 4 matchups. I'm a little hesitant to look at any of the rushing props because of Miami's injury statuses. Josh Allen's over-under for rushing yards is 37.5. And even with the wrist injury, that's something that I gravitate towards. Tyreek Hill is another guy to watch out for. Usually he can go off against anyone, but the first time that they played last year, he had a season low 5 targets and only 3 catches for 58 yards. The over-under receiving yards for Tyreek Hill is at 96.5, and I like the under in this because with Tyreek Hill on the Miami Dolphins has not gone over 96.5 yards against Buffalo yet. I do think it would be more of a Jalen Waddle game. Waddle only played against the Bills one time last year, but the year before that, he had 2 100-plus yard games against Buffalo. I do like the James Cook receiving yards over-under, though. It's at 18.5, and I think he'll get that in about 2 catches. Achane and Mostert are so crucial to the Miami Dolphins that I think we're going to see the first road upset on primetime. I think it could potentially be a slow game for Miami if they can't get their run game going. And I'm taking the Bills outright to win this game. And if Achane doesn't play, I don't like their chances very much at all. But for me, this would send a statement to me that Miami is ready to take over this division. You know, if they were to win this game. Anyways, guys, tell me what you think in the comments below. What do you think will happen? Am I on to something here or am I on something here? You be the judge and then we'll find out after the game. But that's going to do it for this video. You'll catch me in the next one.